Interesting thing too is that for North America, it's going to be very different as well. You know, so not just Europe is going to feature quite a lot of new names and surface a lot of pro players here, but the North American scene it might look a lot different. I mean, we had big names like Manisters Noah and Les doing very well, and of course, you know, in the playoffs bracket, Jay-Z and Exodium, but these names might be very different. So we're going to jump into our second winners semi match. It's going to be Derxello versus Catch on the bottom side. Catch using Shadowcraft and Derxello using a rune. So quite possibly we have a actually this, so there's a few, we were talking about this a little bit. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably the Queen of the Dread Sea D-Shift combo. I feel like it. Actually, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this hand on Derxello's side. But I would definitely venture to say that, this is definitely a D-Shift variant.
Yeah. Yep, definitely
D-Shift. Don't know which one yet.
I think actually he has a few too many well, yeah, because typically you wouldn't run any other spell boost than D-Shift if you're using the Dread Sea, right?
Well, if you're playing that version, no, you're not. And he's definitely not playing Dread Sea because he has Flame Destroyer in his hand.
Yep.
So
because the idea is that you just isolate the D-Shift card, right? So that's the only thing you get, and you don't even necessarily need spells because the Dread Sea will turn its cost to 0. So
right.
There we go. That's a pretty good starting hand
going on.
Yeah.
He's got Petrification for the Mordecai that we saw, B-Mulligans, and he's also got Fire Chain, which is a card we haven't seen in a long time.
Fire Chains. Tell me about that card. Educate me about this history. What is this Fire Chains card?
Alright, so Fire Chain is a card that deals 1 damage to a random follower, and then it gets spell boosted by 1 for every spell you play. So you play a lot of spells, it could potentially act as a massive AoE. And for people who don't know what AoE means, that's an area of effect card, something that affects multiple things on the board at once. So it could wipe a board if it got big enough.
This looks like a picture-perfect D-Shift hand so far. You've got 2 instances of D-Shift, you got the Flame Destroyer going, you have Insight, you have a bunch of spells that you've already played. What more could you wish for? I guess Sorcery Cache?
Well, he would definitely want cards that...
But yes, you would wish for Fate's Hand. You need Fate's Hand desperately, or you're a turtle, and then you need Sorcery Cache for sure.
You're a turtle. Oh man, is that an insult?
No, definitely. He's got Witch Bolt in there as well. He's got a lot of like tech board control type cards.
Yeah.
We may actually see a Petrification.
He's taking a substantial amount of damage though.
That's true. Yeah. He's already down to 12.
Yeah.
He's not focusing on that.
He could just die next turn if he doesn't petrify Tina.
Yeah.
Of course, and we also see Catch has Kawi in hand, which can be quite frustrating. I know a lot of people have been kind of refocusing their attention on Kawi recently, kind of the benefits of having that healing as well as pretty much a hard stop to tons of different sources of damage. How do you feel he fits into the D-Shift matchup? I don't necessarily think that... I mean, it could mess up your turn, right? A Flame Destroyer that wouldn't originally just kill you in 1 turn might have to actually heal you up. Could be very useful.
That actually used to be a thing when D-Shift was like really popular. That was definitely a thing. If a Kawi hit the right destroyer for the Shadow player and the wrong one for the rune, subsequent dimension shifts just wouldn't matter. Like they would just lose lethal. Because Shadow would gain that life, and they would also lose the attacker, which, 7 damage adds up over 3 turns, so...
Alright, more Tinas to be had. And down to 8 now for Derxello. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good for Runecraft right now.
It's definitely not looking good right now. He's in a pretty bad spot over there.
It's a pretty good draw, but...
The glow will do something, though. The glow will bounce the Religion Corpse.
There it is, and that's the play.
And,
that's good.
And he got the Witch Bolt, so he can use that to remove the Tina.
Golem Assault. And then the Witch Bolt, perhaps. Come on.
It's literally his only line.
Oh man.
This is still, like, if he had been drawing Fate's Hands and Sorcery Caches, he would have lethal next turn. Like, 7, 8, 9, the latest is when D-Shift looks to kill, but because he drew 0 draw spells the whole game, he's nowhere near that, so...
That's a really good point, and that's kind of one of the... So we talked about a little bit about the Dreadsea variant, which maybe we'll see later on today. And if we do, kind of the big difference is Dreadsea has the hard cutoff of, like, turn 10 is when you play, right? As opposed to D-Shift, which depending on your draw can cause you to pull the trigger much earlier, but this just doesn't seem to be a case. What do you guys think about that consistency? Aya Senpai, what do you think about the consistency between being able to have maybe a more guaranteed turn 10 closing, or just relying on your draw and relying on your hand for the traditional D-Shift deck?
Well, even with the guarantee, the thing is, you may be guaranteed to have it in your hand, but you're not guaranteed to live till turn 10. So, I mean, in tournament, it's a little bit more likely. People tend to play a little slower, you know, and whatnot. But there's no real guarantee in that regard. However, with a more traditional build, you're definitely playing towards that goal. So, me personally, I would just go more traditional. Just try to, you know, play towards, you know, the D-Shift the normal way, the way it was before.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
6-2. It's no big deal, just a 6-2.
Oh, there you go.
Can actually draw a card off that Witch Bolt. Which could be... Does he have lethal? No. Is Destroyer at... Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think he had lethal. Yeah, he didn't have lethal.
No, he does, right? Because he evolved and he
does
can D-Shift again.
Yeah,
oh, D-Shift is 7.
yeah.
You're right, he does.
Yep.
Yeah, D-Shift is 7.
Surprise D-Shift! That's it. And we talked about it, right? That, like, you hit that point where... And that's the benefit of drawing all 3 of your pieces, or all 2 of your pieces, right? The Flame Destroyer and the D-Shift early, is because basically what gave him the win was the fact that the Flame Destroyer cost 0, right? And that was basically it. And I actually think the ultimate... The interesting thing was actually Catch's decision to play the Pact of the Nether God as opposed to playing the Kawi. And we talked about how that choice is actually really important in that matchup. I think maybe the safer line of play, and if he was respecting D-Shift a little bit more, would have been to understand, like, hey, we're getting pretty far into the game here. Let's play the Kawi, and then, you know, try to work out how to get that last bit of damage afterwards. What do you think was the more optimal, correct play there? Do you think it was justifiable to skip the Kawi in that situation, Aya Senpai?
I don't know. I don't think I agree with the line of skipping the Kawi. You don't know that your opponent has removal. He certainly couldn't have known he had Petrification in hand. He couldn't have known that. So, like, there was nothing that hinted towards an idea of him having a Petrification in hand. So, Kawi in that position just would have been the much better play. It could, even if it was just a turn, it could have, you know, made a huge difference. So yeah, like I said, there was nothing to indicate that he would know that there was a Petrification throughout the entire match. So Kawi should have been played actually, on the turn.
Kawi is a 4/5, and there was a 5/5 golem on the board. So had he chose to play Kawi, it would have just died, and he would have lost the same way.
Right. He was at 20 health already. You can't go higher than that. So.
But that's true too.
He did have to make a proactive play, and the Kawi would have just died on board. So.
Interesting. So kind of a tough situation that we put it in. I think that mid-range, or rather, I guess it wasn't really mid-rangey. I mean, you have like a Tina. Like, it's kind of a weird brand of Shadowcraft. Now that I think about it, Pact of the Nether God. You've got Kawi. I didn't see any Ectors as well.
I haven't seen an Ectar. I haven't seen any of those.
He's got Mordecai, so it's definitely a last word oriented deck.
This looks like his Onion Sheep is playing a neutral Haven list with Darkjan in it.
He's planning on extending the dream. He wants the road not to stop at 4, but he wants to go through the 5 and the 6, you know?
Yeah.
I guess with the Alice buff up, you wouldn't kill all your 2 play point neutrals. Maybe? I don't know. That's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, Derxello's in a really good
yeah, it
spot
puts the
right now.
goblins at 1 defense, but they still live and get buffed. I'm not sure. I don't know. I like I said before, Darkshan sometimes has some weird turns where you just can't even play her, and we might see that this game.
Well, this is I actually misspoke a second ago. I said that Derxello was in a good position. He's actually not in such a good position anymore. This Tina in hand's gonna clear up this board pretty good.
Yeah, Tina probably getting so much more, seeing so much more play after people are starting to play neutrals now.
Definitely, yeah.
That 5 damage is just incredible. And even, like, sometimes I actually think it's even just overkill, you know? Like, there's some world where I was like, you know, why don't you just do 3 damage to everything instead of just 5 damage to, you know? But...
Well, 3 damage to everything would be incredibly powerful for her.
Yeah,
That would be way too good.
Yeah, that would be very strong. But... Marcher's tea time. He opted to skip the fanfare.
Well, he gets a 5-5 and a 5-6 because he's evolving this. He could, what he could have opted to do was shoot that to preserve the defense on there, but I guess he wanted to just do more damage, which is fine. The downside to that is it's now susceptible to this Undying Resentment.
Derxello has a really explosive turn coming up, actually, if not too much removal is used here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to. I mean, he's really threatening a lot of damage here, and so Catch needs to play out the situation very carefully.
He's threatening lethal.
Yeah.
If at least Undying Resentment, the resentment has to happen. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I'll show you.
It looks
But
like
now
might even
he's
trade
sitting
into
on a
5-5,
very
which is
blood turn.
Yeah.
I mean, his best play is wait, what?
that's interesting.
He's gonna take a lot of face damage. It's not quite lethal, but I mean,
Well, remember that Darkshan will also buff that 5.
Yes.
So
That's true too.
and he won't be able to banish it this turn. If he could banish it, that'd be amazing. If he had 1 more mana, but
yeah, the Darkshot into the Blackened Scripture. He's got Actress Feria, looking cool, but not very usable.
Right.
Oh my God! Look
think
at the
he's
damage.
The thing is, I completely agree with this line of play. I see literally no reason for him not to have gone for that line. And Ledger,
is he just going for a
mean-
Cowie or?
well, I don't think he can get Kawi because
Oh,
Ledger
you're
gets
right.
for
He can't.
the
He
amount
has
of
to be
people
lower.
less.
He's actually just gonna die. He's gonna play Grimner and die.
No!
Didn't even play Grimner. Wait, what?
Why would you play that?
This is
oh,
Lurch.
never mind.
Oh my God! There it is.
He
Yep.
must not play Attendant of Knights. He must not play anything
He
else
knew.
that Ledge decks
He knew.
usually play.
Yeah.
Well, we stand corrected.
Banish the Unica.
I'm
Yes.
thinking, you know,
Send the Unica back.
I'm
So-
sure Catch knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah. No, that was really good, and obviously he knows his deck very well here. Oh God, and the Kawi as well. Not the biggest heal, but
Oh, man.
still anything is nice now. And Derxello is just out of ammunition, right?
He's out of gas.
Even just that Mordecai is a huge deal because he's also got Grimner online soon. So
Yeah, the Mad Cyclone version of Grimner, the real angry one. Oh, it's definitely the right answer. Soul Convert.
Really
It's-
nice. Yep.
Hey, it's the Soul Convert, please.
Please,
Please, conversion.
don't let it get bashed.
Soul Con- Come on,
Please, Soul Conversion.
please catch this, Catch.
Oh no! I mean, I can
name's
see from
Catch.
Catch's point of view, like it's only
No,
one card in hand,
Mordecai.
right? How do you? It's only one card. What's the likelihood that that would be Blackened Scripture?
100%.
Oh man.
100%.
I mean, it's still, man.
100%.
Like, you don't want to use your. I mean, okay, he still has double Grimnir, right? But
Yeah,
I
he's still got
just don't
double
get
Grimnir.
why
This
he
is
wouldn't
totally-
draw the card.
Totally still his game. He's got triple.
Oh
Grimner.
my
There's
God! Oh God!
There's no way he loses this game. It doesn't matter.
My parents told me never to judge anybody especially by their appearance or outward looks. And
they should have taught that lesson to Grimnir.
Yeah, Grimnir just does not care. He just judges everybody. That's why people don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still
it's not
hate
the
Grimnir
free
with
board
passion.
way.
Yeah, exactly. It's both. It's a combination of that as well as his voice line.
Yeah.
Oh,
It just makes
perfect.
you feel awful.
I envy you. All right, so Catch will bring it back, tying the series up to 1-1. Derxello, I feel like Derxello was looking really, really good for the majority of the game, but at some point, I guess when you stretch to 10 play, to be fair, okay, the Death Ledger tournament was pretty incredible, and back-to-back having the ability to just remove twice, that Death Ledger was incredibly valuable. I would almost say you would prefer the Death Ledger over the Nethys because you got that delayed effect of one each turn, right? As opposed to everything happening on that same turn.
Yeah, he knew what his deck was capable of. He wanted the removal. He got it. With the Lurching Corpse off of the Death Ledger, that was the swing that got him back in the game.
All right, so, oh my god. We're going to see a Havencraft mirror? What is this
I'm a
world
happy
we
man
live
right
in?
now.
Neutral
There's
Havencraft.
Atlas? Okay, yeah, well, we kind of already knew that the neutral package was in Derxello's Havencraft.
Right.
The question is, what is in Catch's Havencraft deck? I think these are
whole
very
hand.
not indicative cards of anything, because, like, March Hares is kind of a, okay, fine, like, bring it, right, in almost every Havencraft deck. Grimnir is one of those cards, and so is Black Inscription, so it's not super telling.
Derxello actually has an amazing hand if he just starts playing neutrals immediately.
However, Catch doesn't.
Catch's hand is it's symmetrical. It was.
It's very even.
It was a palindrome for a while there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, another Alice. Derxello is just drawing everything he needs.
Yeah.
The only unfortunate part of this situation, I feel like, is Derxello's going second. If he was going first, this would be out of the park.
Nah, you won't notice it. Double Alice and you won't notice it.
The pain goes away. Banishing back and forth.
That's a Haven mirror.
Yep.
It's just so strong for Alice to be able to buff things in hand as well. I think that's definitely the thing that changes her from like a pretty strong card to a very, very, very strong card. I feel like you just can't miss out.
Now, what might happen is that line of the Golden City is at 5. Next turn, he could play that, pop the Dual Flames in hand, and he's gonna have the 5/5 and 2 4/4s.
Oh my god!
It's like a better Daria.
He might be playing into a top deck Themis, right? Right, guys? That's what.
That would have to be the most Hail Mary of Themis Decrees.
I feel like because I said it, it's gonna happen now.
I think that's my talent. I don't know if that's yours.
I'm sorry, Derxello.
Oh no, Angel.
That's some value.
Man.
That's some value.
Yeah.
And that lion is still gonna get buffed up if he does.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Play the Angel, then play the Fairy, then play Alice next turn. That lion's almost free.
Yeah.
Value.
Oh my God, Angel of the Word. It was such. It was a pretty good neutral card before the whole Wonderland Dreams happened, and now it's just even more reason to be like, cool. This card's great.
Yeah, that card's amazing.
Lots of Tin Soldiers coming out here, but only a few Evo points left for Catch, and I feel like the momentum is all on Derxello's side. He's just riding that wave of cards in hand that he got right from the start.
Do you guys get the feeling that Catch is trying to bluff a Themis Decree?
I get the feeling he's really hoping he draws one.
Oh God! Look at the stats. Look at the stats.
Triple Alice effect.
That's disgusting.
And then to back it all up, he's still got a 2-mana 5/5 that puts 2 4/4s on the board.
Ooh, well, it can take a significant amount of damage off the board.
So, I mean, he can combine Tribunal and Blackened Scripture, right?
You want to play the Blackened Scripture first.
Yes, to make sure the Tribunal targets the the more relevant cards.
Right. He could only hit the Actress Feria because that has 2.
You actually could
So,
instead just
with
dogma
the-
one of these and then get the entire board gone.
Yes.
If he shoots the 6-2, attacks the 4-4, plays Tribunal for the 5-6, he actually clears the whole board this turn.
That's true.
There you have it. That's the play. And that's why I
don't know
need
if Catch sees
coaching.
that, though. Unfortunately. Hey!
There it is.
Is that a white
spotted
tiger?
it.
What?
The white tiger.
I like this.
The real battle
He's playing white tiger. Interesting.
I like that card a lot.
Show's over.
You know, it's an interesting card, but it's probably not the single most competitive thing out there.
Well, okay, sure.
Bringing a 3-2 ward is kind of awkward.
They can't get it. They have to run into it.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been a Grimnir with reverse stats.
My boss works us to the
And
bone.
much more useful later.
I think it'd be really good if it was a Grimnir with reverse stats.
With the reverse stance. Yeah, that's a way to put it.
Ugh, this lion, a one-mana
Oh.
lion! No!
Disgusting.
So, basically, Derxello now has committed all his ammunition, right? All the hopes and dreams, everything, you know, we were looking at Derxello and we're like, oh, he's an A-grade student, he has such a bright future ahead of him. This is it. This is the end of the road. If he gets stopped here, and luckily there wasn't a Themis on the draw, but he's actually in a really bad spot if he gets stopped here.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's nothing in Catch's hand that's gonna deal with
White tiger.
There's a white tiger. Yep.
Which dies to the bird.
He's got double ward here,
He does have double ward, yeah.
and
Although
he's
by
got
killing
curate.
something, he did give Derxello an extra tiger, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed a 3-3 to give Derxello a 4-4. I'm not sure if that was worth it.
That's true. That's true. Still a very dangerous board state, but I feel like Catch has to be sitting there praying to whatever divine beings he believes in right now. Because there's definitely cards that could answer this situation for Havencraft. He just needs to
Well,
walk into them.
you know, there's only one card that's answering this situation, and that's Themis Decree.
Yeah.
So.
This is a Themis Decree or bust, literally. He's got a 1,
Yeah.
probably whatever number in 28 to get it. I don't know what number he's playing, if he's playing them.
Oh god.
Oh, this looks like an Aegis list, so
Oh!
pretty sure.
Come on, buddy.
Well,
Oh!
it doesn't even matter.
Nope.
No!
Dead.
Pitiful lad.
He's
I mean, even curate. That's cute.
Nah, this game's over.
Dang.
Even if he did Themis Decree, that Snow White was gonna pop, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. Snow White, again, having that kind of sticky property to be able to kind of maintain and be able to swing on your next turn as well. That's kind of really strong. It's not like it dies and then it's just sitting there like, I can't do anything for the next turn. I think it's super... I feel